Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with the R Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. I am back with this quick prophetic message. I just want to say, for those of you who are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And for those of you who are returning back, I want to say welcome back. Keep in mind that these energies could be happening right now for some of you. And if it's not happening right now, it could be happening a couple of days from now, a couple of weeks from now, and even 6 months out. Take it how it resonates. It just depends on your location on the planet, excuse me, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. All of that plays a factor. So anyway, so with all that being said, let's get into the message. But I just want to let you guys know I have 3 decks of cards that I'm going to pull at the end. So if you want to stick around for the 3 different messages that correlates with this prophetic message, the 3 prophetic messages that I'm giving, feel free to stick around if you like. If not, then I'll see you at the next video. So anyway, so with all that being said, let's get into the message. So the message that I received was, it came in form as if I was like in this, take it like some sort of, I got a feeling like it was some sort of like, take it like a dorm room. You know, just imagine a dorm room where people are sharing the bathroom, or you know, it came in a form as like that. So for me, it's like a common area where people are at is what I'm getting. So I say all that to say but it was a common area bathroom where people shared. So in the dream, it was like I picked up a toothbrush that I was thinking that was my toothbrush, and I started brushing my teeth with it. And then as I brushed my teeth with it, I put the toothbrush down and I put it back. But then someone else came into the bathroom, and in the dream, it was like my spouse had came into the bathroom and started brushing his teeth with the same toothbrush. And I'm looking like, but in the dream, it's like in the dream I had a spouse, so my spouse was also, but again, this is a common area bathroom. It wasn't in our personal bathroom in the dream. It wasn't in our home or anything. I got the feeling like it was a common space. So that just letting me know this is a common space, you know, a space that everybody is in. So anyway, and then once he came in and he brushed his teeth with the toothbrush, and I'm looking at him like, that's what we do here. And then, so next thing you know, someone else came into the bathroom behind him and started brushing their teeth with the same toothbrush. So I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, ew. I was like, and I was thinking to myself, did somebody else use the toothbrush prior to me using it, or wherever the case may be? But I just noticed that I was brushing my teeth, and then again, he was brushing his teeth, and then other people started brushing their teeth. So anyway, but it switched scenes on me, right? So the next thing that it showed me was I was sitting like on a curve, like on a sidewalk curve. And I was just noticing the people walking past and, you know, just doing their everyday life. And I was just sitting there, and I felt like it was 2 other people that was sitting beside me. Who it was, I don't know, but I just know it was 2 other energies that was there with me. And we was just sitting and we was observing what was taking place. And so after that had happened, after that had happened, basically, I was just sitting there and observing and watching the people walking past. So that was the pretty much end of the message. So the message that had came through for me was, it's about, okay, so it's 2 different messages. Thank you, Spirit. There's 2 different messages. So some people have been sitting on the sideline and just observing and noticing what has been taking place just in a common area, everyday society. Just consider the everyday society being the common area within the dream or whatever, like that everybody has to go to store, you know, go to Walmart, buy groceries, whatever the case may be, work, you know, pay bills, and so on and so on. But anyway, so that area of the dream is just letting me know that some of us have been sitting on the sideline and just observing of just other people in their everyday life and how they're just going back and forth and doing whatever it is that they're doing. And some of us has been sitting on the sideline trying to observe and see how and where we fit in at, and just trying to figure out our place of where we fit in at, should I say, for whatever it is that you may be working on. Excuse me with all the arms. I don't even know what's going on with that today. Anyway, so that's what I had received for that message in regards to just sitting on the curve of the sidewalk and so on and so on. But the first part of the dream, when basically I said I was brushing my teeth, and then next, you know, my spouse in the dream was brushing his teeth with the same toothbrush, and then someone else came in and brushed their teeth. So to me, that was a representation of, that was just two different situations that God is showing me. So there's going to be a situation where some of you guys are going to be actual leaders, and you're going to, it's almost like you're going to be leading the way and other people are going to follow behind you, is what I'm getting. Thank you, Spirit. So it's like you're leading the way and others are going to follow you. So keep that in mind as well, too. But that was it for that message. And then this next message that came through is, okay. So this next message was, the next message that came through was, in my dream, there was like, I had a spouse in my dream, right? So it was like as if we was in our home, and then I noticed he was sitting on the couch, right? So because he was sitting on the couch and I was doing something like in the kitchen, but I can see his head from the kitchen in the dream. And all of a sudden he had jumped up off of the couch and he went to put all his stuff in his pocket that he travels with on a daily basis, is what I was getting. And he headed towards the front door. Well, when he walked towards the front door, he ran out the door like in a rush. So I had walked towards the door because he was getting ready to leave and he didn't say where he was going. So I walked towards the door to say, hey, you going to work? And then next thing you know, I realized that he was rushing to try to get to work. So I say all that to say that, I'm sorry, this eyelashes really bother me. So I say all that to say, when I went to the front door and asked him, are you late for work or whatever? Or you heading to work? And it was almost like I didn't necessarily get a response, but I kind of figured telepathically that that's what was happening. But anyway, so as I was at the front door, I had also noticed 2 pair of shoes that was sitting outside my front door, right? It was like a kid's shoes, and then there was like some adult shoes, but these shoes were worn out and they were pretty old, should I say. And I could just tell that was just kind of shoes that people slide their feet into. But for some particular reason, they were sitting outside my door in the dream. And then so I also noticed that there was a sink at the edge of my walkway in the dream, and I was looking at it, but the sink was upside down. So it was like somebody had pulled the sink out of their house and turned it upside down, like to go to the dumpster. But instead of it going to the dumpster or to the edge of their walkways or in front of their homes, for some particular reason they decided, like in my walkway, should I say, but it was turned upside down. So I say all that to say that some of you guys may find a situation where people may find themselves trying to drop their shit off on you or whatever the case may be. So just be mindful of that, especially during this holiday season and going forward, of making sure you make a conscious effort of not allowing people to just come and just drop their baggage off on you. Because if you think about a sink is representation of you wash everything down the sink. And this was a kitchen sink. You wash things down the sink that you don't want, whether spoiled food, bad food, you know, food that you don't want that we grind up in the garbage disposal, you know, anything that you don't want, you're rinsing it down the drain. So just with the mere fact of the sink was sitting upside down, heading to the dumpster, well, upside down, but it was in front of my walkway, was just for me an indication of just be mindful of people just trying to, and this, thank you, Spirit. The Spirit is also saying just be mindful of people trying to spiritually dump shit off on you, and not, it could be physically, but it can also be spiritually too. So just be mindful of that too. And when I say dump, just think about if you're feeling tired, or if you're feeling heavy. Because remember I said in the dream, like my spouse was sitting on the couch and he had jumped up because he was late for work. So obviously he overslept. So just be mindful of just people just trying to put their loads off on you in some shape or form, and allow people to carry their own weight and be responsible adults, just like God is allowing us to be mature and responsible, meaning like we have our own shit that we have to carry. So just make sure that people aren't just either spiritually dumping or physically dumping their own stuff off onto you. And when I say spiritually, I mean that could be like some, you know, just feeling a sense of heaviness that's just coming from out of nowhere. You know, that's a form of manipulation of energy, should I say. Again, it goes back to the whole witchcraft and so on, or black magic or whatever. But anyway, I don't want to keep talking about that, but in feeding it energy, but it is what it is. And I say all that to say, so just be mindful of that. And physically, it could just be a situation of somebody just telling you, you know, just unloading all of their issues off on you. And once they unload their issues off on you, then they feel better. And then they're gone. And then they come back again for when they have more issues, trying to relieve those issues, and then dump it off on you again, and then go away and come back, should I say. So remember, it's the intention behind the things that people do. Anyway, so this last message is so very important. Oh, and I'm sorry, the shoes was a representation of just people's walk, just what they have been dealing with. What I'm hearing Spirit say is like their karma, whatever karma that people may be being served right now. It's more so of things that they have experienced, things that they have been dealing with. So just because the shoes was in front of my door and sitting there, it was almost like they were trying to physically or spiritually take the load off of themselves, in other words. So be mindful of that too, because some of you guys could be in a situation to where you don't even know it, but just you being around certain people allows them to feel better. And that's why God is allowing so many people to separate themselves from other people. And that's because when people are serving their karma, it's almost like when you allow these people around you, and I said this in a previous video too, so I don't want to be redundant with what I'm saying, but I'm just reminding you really quick. You know, when you're around other people when they're serving karma, you too can find yourself feeling like you're serving that same karma that they're serving if you allow yourself to continue to be around, you know, individuals who are serving karma. So I just want you to know that. But anyway, so let's move on to the next message. This one is so important, and it's funny because I'm wearing red right now, which not only that, but this came in a form of the red phone in the White House, right? So that's how Spirit was showing it to me. The red phone that was in the White House, it was almost like it was a sense of urgency is the message that I was getting. So I remember hearing that the red phone in the White House, you know, like just growing up in general was like, oh my God, like if that phone get answered, you know, something serious is about to go down. But I also Googled the meaning of that, what was the purpose of that red phone in the White House, right? So apparently it was secret messages that was going back and forth between, I think, Moscow or something like that during the Cold War, whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to focus on that. But I'm going to focus on the message that God's soul Spirit had given me. But because I was shown the red phone, and it was almost like somebody wanted to pick, I got the feeling like somebody wanted to pick up the red phone. So that, for me, the message that was coming through was a representation of just seeing the red phone in general was something for us to be mindful of going into 2022. This is not a fear-based message, but this is a message of a warning to just be mindful of your, just be mindful of the things that are about to take place. Thank you, Spirit. Because Spirit was reminding me of the message before this one when I said that there will be divine, let me make sure I'm saying that right, divinely guided activities that will be taking place. It is controlled by God and it is orchestrated by God. So I just want you to know that so that you don't become fearful and to the point of being pulled into the illusion-based fears or worrying. But just trust the fact that God is orchestrating whatever it is that's going to take place. Again, the message is coming through. So it's as a warning so that you don't get thrown off guard and be pulled in by other people around you. Be pulled in by other people around you with being in fear. Because if you stay in your heart place and know that God is leading this and orchestrating this, it's almost like a spiritual test is what I'm hearing. So it's almost like a simulation. Imagine going into a simulation that's not even real, but it seems so freaking real. So it's almost like that's what's happening. It's almost like that's what I just heard Spirit say. It's almost like going into a simulation that seems so real, and the feeling of the things going on around you feel so real, but thank you, Spirit. It feels so real because there could be people that and I don't know why I'm hearing this, the spiritual, the spiritual quote from the Bible when it said, 1,000 may fall at my left side, 10,000 at my left side. I don't know that scripture, but let me say it. Let me say it real quick. Let me try to Google it, because I think this is important. So I hope you just, hopefully you're sticking around for this message. But just give me 1 second. And Spirit just gave me this message, so I would have done this prior. Okay, I got the scripture. Thank you, Spirit. So anyway, because there's a scripture that says 1,000 may fall at your side. Hold on. Let me read the Bible Hub. Okay. Read this Bible.com one. It says, you who sit down in the high God's presence. In the high presence of God, excuse me. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Forgive me, y'all. You who sit down in the high God's presence, spend the night at the Sadi shadow. Hold on, I didn't want all that. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. It says 1,000 may fall at my side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it should not approach you. So keep that in mind. You could see things and events happening. Okay, here's another one too. This is another translation, the New Living Translation. So this one says 1,000 may fall at your side, though 10,000 may die. Well, this one says 10,000. I think Spirit wanted me to read this. I'm sorry. 10,000 may die around you. These evils will not touch you. So keep that in mind as well too. And then the King James Version, it's the last one, I'm sorry. It says 1,000 shall fall at your side and 10,000 at the right hand, but it shall not come near thee. So keep that in mind as well too. Excuse me, y'all. Keep that in mind as well too, because again, God is bringing me this message because he just wants you to know that he is being, he just wants you, he wants you to know the favor that you have on your life. Let me say that. He wants you to know the favor that you have on your life. And although you may see other people falling, again, at your left and your right, but if you still standing, that's allowing you to be able to see that God has his hand on you for a reason. And again, look at it from a perspective of it being a simulation of things happening around you. But if you just keep in your mind, in your heart, your body, your soul, and your spirit, and just remind yourself that, you know, God is orchestrating this. Again, it is an event that is controlled by him, and it is orchestrated by him, was the message that he had given me in that last message that I had did. So this representation of this red phone was a sense of be aware. I want you to know what's going on before it gets here. So once it gets here, I want you to stand firm, and I want you to not be shaken is what I'm hearing, to not be moved. And even if you shake and tremble just a little bit, but just mostly stay in your heart space and know that I have you, that I have your back. I want you to know that I have your back is what I'm hearing him say, because he wants you to stand firm. You know, we're all going to be tested, should I say. And I'm hearing Spirit say it could be weather-wise, and it could be situations of people actually losing their life or whatever. So I know for me, that's why it's so important, like before the new year, it's almost like trying to, anybody that may have had an issue with me that maybe, like, let's just say, and whether you're saying this physically to them or whether you just spiritually surrendering to the Lord and asking for forgiveness, you know, for any quarrels that I'm hearing that you might have been a part of, you know, and just releasing those and clearing up your heart space before the new year gets here, because that's part of the reason why God had said to pray for those who were lying to you, you know, pray for them, you know, whoever it may be. Whoever was just lying to you and wasn't being honest about any situation, you know, because, yeah. So Anyway, but let me leave that there because Spirit is just telling me to stop. But anyway, so with all that being said, just remember the red phone. If there's anything, keep that in the back of your mind, and just know the red phone is associated with God's soul spirit. It is a situation that's controlled by him, and it is a situation that's orchestrated by him. So if you stay in your heart space again and just remember that God is orchestrating this and trust that, it's almost like a testing of our faith. You know, remember the Bible says faith without works are dead. So us having to put in the work, this is spiritual work that we're having to put in, meaning like our faith will be tested, but it's just to see whether you're going to trust the information that God has given you. So I'm warning you now that I've already told you the events that's about to come. So just stay in that heart space of knowing that God is orchestrating it and it is controlled by him. And then, and stand on that if you choose to. Anyway, so let me pull these cards real quick. Oh, and it's so funny because this morning I walked my dog, right? And I was walking her, and I saw I saw a dead bird on the sidewalk, and I was like, oh, poor bird. But then I realized that was a message, right? Even though the bird had to lose its life for me to see that. But the bird was a representation of rebirth, and the rebirth is happening with us all going into this new year. So there will be chain of events that will be happening. Some of us will be moving into certain places, and others will be thank you, Spirit. Is what I'm hearing is going to be like a shift. So it's like this. Imagine all of these markers is a representation of every level that every one of us has been at. So it's going to be a situation of, if you're down here, you're going to move up here. If you were here, you're going to move up here. So it's just going up the chain, going up the ladder and helping us to evolve even higher, if that makes sense to you. So anyway, so let me get into the message really quick. But in regards to the dead bird, it says, remember for a spiritual, it's a reborn. Remember from a spiritual view, a dead bird isn't a bad thing. It shows that change and renewal are coming to you. In many traditions, a dead bird lets the old way die. After that, you'll have a rebirth and a new life. So, yes. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. But anyway, I pulled these. I have these cards, the letting go cards of what things that we possibly need to let go of throughout the new year. And only take it if it resonates. If it's something that you have already done and, you know, God has asked you to do, and you've already done what you feel like you've been compelled to do, that your higher self, God's soul spirit, was leading and guiding you to do, and if you already done it, then you don't have to worry about it. But again, only take the message, and if there's nothing that you do need to get rid of, then I guess you're right where you need to be at. Thank you, Spirit. I call in a message of pure white light and pure unconditional love. Call in a message of pure white light and pure unconditional love. What messages do you have for the collective? That is a pure white light and unconditional love only. So that's so funny because I saw that card as I was shuffling it. Thank you, Spirit. So the first one that came out, it says, accepting my imperfections. That's just like me. This year, I made a conscious effort of saying that I was going to be more forthcoming in regards to just, you know, having dyslexia or whatever the case may be. And even my imperfections when it comes down to Mercury retrograde, because for those of you who do not know, when Mercury retrograde rolls around, it definitely affects my communication. And this has nothing to do with the dyslexia part. This is just more so of stumbling over my words or trying to find my words during Mercury retrograde season. I laugh about it because I had to take notice. I was like, dang, why does that always happen? And I realized that Mercury retrograde affects my communication. So anyway, so sometimes I may have a hard time with trying to find my words during that period. Anyway, so that's just me showing my flaws or my imperfections, you know, to the world, and just being honest. You know, hopefully I can be an example and help other people to be honest. But it says, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all may hear the Wizard of Oz going in the background. But anyway, it says, today I will tell myself that who I am is okay, and that what I am doing is enough. Of course, I make mistakes and get off track. That applies to me too. I get off track sometimes, but that doesn't mean that I'm not as good as everyone else. No one else is perfect, and that's just fine. And this message is so perfect for what I just said. I said that there were some people sitting on the sideline, and they were sitting there watching other people trying to figure out where they fit in at, right? Thank you, Spirit. So, accepting your imperfections. And then the next one that came out, it says, focus on peace. So today I will focus on today I will focus on peaceful pace rather than a hurried one. I will keep moving forward gently, not frantically. I will let go of my need to be anxious and upset, and will replace these feelings with calmness and harmony. And this is so funny that this card is coming out, because I just said that as long as you know, even though the red phone showed up in the dream, you know, that was a representation of some events gonna happen, whether it be weather-wise, or whether it be situation of seeing people fall at your left or your right, you know, not wishing that on anybody or whatever the case may be, but we all do got soul contracts, and sometimes when those contracts are up, you know, people choose to leave this earth, should I say. And, you know, that can come in any shape or form. It could be a situation of a weather event that just kind of, you know, does some damage that affects some people in the process. So that's something to be mindful of too. But, you know, of course, I wish everyone much love and light, you know, even those who don't necessarily do what's right. So keep that in mind as well too, because this was a representation of me just telling you these events are orchestrated by God. And as long as you remember that and stay in your heart space, stay in your heart space. Try not to be anxious or, you know, try to be peaceful, and just know, what I'm hearing is peace, be still. Peace, be still. That's what I'm hearing. Stand still in peace, as I said before, you know. Anyway, so the next message is accepting change. And God is allowing this event to happen so that we can... He's allowing this event to happen so we can get out of our old mindset of way of doing things. It's almost like when we have, let's just say, catastrophic events, it changes. It's enough. Think about Hurricane Katrina is what I'm hearing Spirit say. That was enough to kind of change people's lives and, change people's lives and put them in a different headspace of, oh my God, like, not just Hurricane Katrina, other places too, but, you know, that was an event that nobody could control. So at that point in time, it's almost like people had to kind of come together, rally together, come from a more authentic place is what I'm hearing Spirit say. So it's no more of, oh, well, let me try to see who I can take from, or let me try to see who I can get something from. No, this is about survival. It's about, okay, as long as we're all on the same page, you good, I'm good. You know what I mean? So it's like that. Okay, but anyway, let me get into a message. So it says, today I will open to the process of change. I will trust my higher power and believe that the place where I will trust my higher power and believe that the place where I'll be dropped off is better than the place where I was picked up at. I know that change is necessary to take me wherever I need to go. And then the next one came out. It says, trusting God. And I just said that, right? Spirit couldn't show up at a better time. Trust God. So today I ask my higher power to send me his best, and I will trust that all that is good will come to me. I will remember that sometimes we don't get what we want because God has something infinitely better in store for us. So keep that in his mind. Sorry. So keep that in mind as well too. And I know some people's lives are being shaken up, and I do want to say this, y'all. If you guys don't comment, I don't know exactly what things that you kind of like. And I know sometimes people can be, how can I say it? Be a little reserved, don't want people to know what's going on with you. But, you know, it's just a matter of communicating, you know, just like I'm sitting here and I'm telling you guys things that I had experienced as me being authentic. So just with the mere fact that, you know, and it's not, you know, if you so choose to, commenting usually can help other people in the process, because if somebody else sees maybe your comment and they may say, oh, well, I'm not the only one going through this. Thank you, Spirit. I'm not the only one going through this. So, and it could be a situation that maybe somebody else is going through the same exact thing that you're going through, but you don't realize, but you're also being a helper to them as well too, because maybe you've gotten through that challenge already, and maybe they need to get through that challenge already. So, you know, just keeping things to yourself and keeping them built up inside. And I get it, you know, I know some of us aren't really trusting of other people, but just know that, you know, if you follow your intuition and follow your gut feeling of just listening to a person's comment, you can kind of see where they're coming from, whether they're being authentic or not. And we do know that sometimes people can put on these false masks as well too. But at the same time, that's why it's important to just trust the fact that if you're saying something, that God is just going to allow, it's almost going to be like a chain reaction. When you do this, there's going to be something else that shows up that helps you in the process, or give you a message that you may need to hear, or you may see the fact that somebody else is going through the same exact thing that you are. So commenting sometimes can be helpful to other people as well too. So whether you realize it or not. Anyway, so this last card says, setting my own course. So some of you, and you see she's in a boat and she's by herself. So some of you are being pulled away from people for a specific reason, because, you know, you have to learn how to accept your imperfections, you know, and focus more so on having a peace of mind, because some of these people that, again, may be around you could be people that are serving karma, and whatever they're experiencing, you find yourself experiencing some of that, and it drains your energy, and they can energetically hooks into you spiritually without you, you know, being aware of it, or just be energy vampires that could just be sucking your energy out of you and you're not even knowing it. So, and then accepting change is so important, just trusting God in the process. So setting my own course. It says, today I will realize that I am powerless over other people, and we can't help people if they don't want to be helped. Today I realize that I am powerless over other people's expectations of me. I'll think about what I want and consider that how I respond to others' needs will affect the course of my life. I will own my own power and choose the course that's right for me. So yeah, it's always important to consider yourself first and foremost, always. You know, I used to be somebody who always considered other people before I considered myself, because, you know, during the times of the old way of doing things, being in the age of Pisces, you know, it was almost like you were taught to, oh, don't be selfish, you know, but now God told me otherwise. Like, no, it's okay to be selfish. You take care of you first, because if you don't take care of you first, then how can you take care of somebody else? In other words, fill your own cup up, and whatever you have left over, you know, if you choose to give it, give it. Anyway, which is so funny, because at the bottom of this deck, it says, achieving clarities in my relationships. I'm going to read this one real quick, y'all. This was just standing out to me. It says, achieving clarity in my relationships. Today, I will remember that even the best relationships have low points. If the low points is the norm in my current relationships, friendships, relationships with people at work, it's not just actual relationships. We're in relationships with everyone. Like, we're in relationships with our neighbors, we're in relationships with people at work, we're in relationships with our boss, we're in relationships with quote unquote friends or frenemies, or however you want to associate it with you. We're in relationships with our family members. So take it how it resonates. If the low point is the norm in my current relationship, I may have to consider if I want to continue. If the low point is temporarily, I will practice understanding. I know that I will achieve clarity and make the right decision. So that's why I say you have to do what's best for you. And more importantly, before I end on this note, I'm going to do this card because Spirit's saying use this one too. Learning discipline. Going into this new year is going to be so important. It's like almost like God is going to teach us how to be more disciplined. You know, these events and things that may or will take place is almost like it's teaching us how to, it's teaching a spiritual discipline. In other words, you know, we're doing it in the physical, but it's also teaching a spiritual discipline, whether it's recognizing seeing the enemy coming a mile away and not just, oh, I know it's an enemy, so let me say, hey, how you doing? You know, how's your life going? And so on and so on. And, you know, and knowing good time well, you already know that there's an enemy. Why are you even partaking with them? In other words, that's just an example. You know, or if you seeing something, for me, what just came to mind is like the other day I went to the dentist, right? And there was a, thank you, Spirit. There was a young lady at the office, and she was fairly new that I've seen since the last time I've been there for like a cleaning. So I say all that to say this lady was new, and apparently she was help assisting. And I didn't like the fact that I saw her as an example, you know, and I saw something, I said something. So it was an example of her restocking the gloves, right? So she was restocking the gloves, but then, you know, she went off to the back. Now, I don't know whether she put on gloves or not, but because she came back with the container in her hand and she didn't have any gloves on, that was giving me an indication that she didn't have any gloves on when she came and got the container to refill the latex gloves for the techs or whatever, you know, for the dental hygienist techs or whatever. So anyway, so with that being said, and I watched her, you know, again, I didn't see whether she put on gloves in the back when she was taking the gloves out of the box or whatever and putting them into the container. But I just knew when she came back, she was refilling them. And I thought to myself, I was like, that's not good. But then on the other hand, it was also something that the dental hygienist needed something out of a drawer that she wasn't close by. And she had asked her to grab something for her, right? So when she asked her to grab something for her, I thought to myself that she's not grabbing that with, you know, with any gloves on. And I was trying to see whether whatever it was she was grabbing out of the drawer was closed or sealed or whatever. But she grabbed whatever it was she grabbed. So anyway, nevertheless, on my way out, I basically, I was asking for the owner's wife, and I thought maybe she was there, but apparently she wasn't there. And then so I just asked for the officer. I said, you're the office manager, right? And she said, yeah. So, you know, I just basically told her my concern. And I basically told her the problem at hand was, I said, you know, I basically had a conversation with her. And basically, and I'm not going to get into the full detail, but basically I had a conversation with her and making her aware of what was kind of going on behind the scenes. Because I know you can't watch, or I'm not saying to micromanage people, but, you know, everybody should be on the same page, you know, and especially during this pandemic time with, you know, so many things happening, and you have to be mindful of how people handling your food. You have to be mindful of how people are handling, you know, or cleaning stuff. You have to be mindful of just, you know, just washing your hands and, you know, cleanliness. All of that is a disciplined practice. So I say all that to say, especially when you're dealing with the public, you know, it's so important, because if you think about the latex glove, people use latex gloves, especially in the dentist's office, and they're putting their hands in your mouth. Well, you know, and if she didn't wash her hands, if she didn't wash her hands prior to putting those gloves in, or put on some gloves herself when she was refilling the container, for me, that was an issue. So because I was there at that office, I had to address the issue and bring it to her awareness. Now, what she chooses to do with that information and how God allows it to unfold after that, that's on them. You know, just know and understand that I brought the information to them, and if she chooses, you know, she said she was going to do something about the issue and, you know, just make sure people were all on the same page. I will say that much. But I'll say more importantly that, yeah, it's so important to practice cleanliness, you know, right now, being disciplined with cleanliness. I didn't say be over obsessive with it, but I'm just saying practice discipline, you know, just when it comes down to certain things, especially, you know, things that you got to put into your mouth. Because that's the opening entryway for, you know, virus and bacteria and stuff to take place. But anyway, but it's beyond that. So discipline in other areas as well, too, you know, just as an example, is what's coming to mind, not being fake or phony about a situation. You know, if you're hanging around somebody or you're conversating with somebody that you absolutely have nothing in common with, but you just kind of finding yourself settling, no. All that's being revamped. Anyway, it says, today I will surrender to discipline. I realize that sometimes it takes time to see the fruits of the labor, yet I still need to practice discipline. Help me to remember, God, that I am moving forward and that I am learning the very important art of discipline in whatever area of your life, because it could be different for everyone. Hold on, y'all. You got the Courage Lion speaking in the background. All right, I have one more deck after this one, y'all. So hopefully just give me one message so we can get straight to the point. Spirit, ask what message do you have for the collective? And God wants you to know, y'all, approve yourself. If you don't need somebody to approve you, approve yourself. Don't worry about what somebody else think about you. Approve yourself. Go into the new year with approving yourself and not needing validation from anyone else. Whether it be in love, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in whatever it may be, because it's going to be different for everybody. If a family member don't accept you, accept yourself. Thank you, Spirit. What message do you have for the collective? Entrapment. So be mindful of that. And I see courageous at the bottom of the deck. So entrapment and being courageous. So sometimes I'm hearing Spirit say sometimes these entrapments can come from situations of, as I said before, jobs, people, family members, habits. Okay. So it says you are letting too many things in your environment control your life. I just said that right. So it says, you have drawn this card because it is time for a shift in personal power. You are encouraged to take responsibility for your life and choose new ways of thinking that create change. The reality is that for you to make the change you want, need, and desire, you need a system, daily discipline. I just said that, right, y'all? Discipline. Discipline and motivation. As long as you blame outside influences for any circumstances in your life, you are powerless. So again, if you sit in there, that's why it's so important to release and let go. Like I said, for the new year, you know, resolving any undifferences that you may have with people, because if you're still holding on to things and you're blaming people for other things rather than just accepting responsibility for your own life, because again, nobody owes us anything, you know. Now, do we Nobody owes us anything. But the truth of the matter is, do we want loving and truthful and 100% authentic relationships in our life? Yes. Should we be settling for no? No, we're not doing that anymore. That's where some people are being entrapped at. As long as you blame outside influences for any circumstances in your life, you are powerless. It's the government. It's the government, your abusive background, the interest rates, and the bank's fault. The systems that many ultra successful people use is they read books every day, listen to audios, go to many seminars as they can, practice recognizing others' achievements, and form relationships with like-minded people. So in other words, if what Spirit is showing me is, if you're hanging around people who are not going in a direction that you want to go, people who are not on the same page as you, people who are just stuck where they at, is what I'm hearing, who are stuck right where they're at, and they're not looking to evolve or go higher, then those are not, and you know you want to go higher, then you're settling for less. That's the entrapment part, because you're hanging around people who just stuck and they're comfortable right where they are. They don't want to go higher. You know, if you want to be a multi-billionaire, you know, well, you got to kind of hang around some multi-billionaires, even though you haven't made it there yet. It's almost like renewing your mind, should I say, because I remember having a conversation with somebody some time ago, a couple of years ago, and I was like, well, and the way I said it, I could have said it a little better, but I was just like, I said, I'm an eagle. I fly high. You know, I surround myself around like-minded people who are going, not necessarily who they're going, but they own their own businesses, should I say. So therefore, if it's like I was surrounding myself around people who own, this is just my example. It's going to be different for everybody else. I was surrounding myself around other people who own business, who were business-minded people, because I knew that that's where God was having me to go. So it's almost like, it was like going through a spiritual training with being around those people, observing, learning, and so on and so on. Well, if God was trying to push me into entrepreneurship, I couldn't hang around people who, let's just say, had a regular, and this is no offense to anyone, if somebody was working a corporate job, or if somebody was working, you know, at a manufacturer job, it doesn't matter. And I'm not discouraging these people, because everybody is right where they need to be at, but we're being shifted as well too. And I was being shifted at that time. So therefore, if God had me around entrepreneurs, should I say, and people, and still around entrepreneurs. So I say all that to say, because again, if somebody is stuck in a place of, you know, being in, whether it's a government job or whether it's a, you know, whatever type of job, corporate job, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point of the matter is, it makes it a little hard for me to get out of that old corporate mentality if I'm still kind of attached to it, but I want to pursue a field. And I'm not saying people can't do it, because there's some people who may have their foot in the door there that they probably being divinely guided to do as well. But then part-time, you know, behind the scenes, that they're creating stuff too. But anyway, you know, it's just a matter of, again, surrounding yourself around the people who are going in a place that you want to go. Because it's something like, it changes your mindset. It totally changes your mindset. You don't settle for less. Okay, so this one is an action that you guys can take if you so desire to choose to. And it says, ask yourself, are the people in your life building me up and inspiring me? That's the other thing too. Are these people inspiring you? If not, it's time to take charge and to start making changes in your environment. Your first step could be cutting out the negative media. Oh God, that's so me. And I forgot to tell y'all, when I was in the dentist's office, and all I saw was this negative news media. And I told you, I don't watch the news, but for some particular reason, I kept finding, and you be careful, y'all, because I'm telling you, the things that you watch, it can literally draw you in if you're not mindful of it. I was sitting on the side because my son had his dentist appointment. And then it just so happened that I was sitting on the side in the chair, you know, that's usually for the parents or whatever. And I just kept finding myself looking up at the TV. I was like, why am I looking up at the TV? I don't even watch this shit when I'm at home. So it got to the point, I just started looking at my phone and trying to tune it out, right? But then when I went back the next day for my appointment, I realized the TV was on the same exact stuff, negative news media. I was like, I don't want to hear that. So I asked my dental hygienist, I said, are you watching this? And she said, no, because usually it's there for the client, but I just wanted to make sure she wasn't watching by just coming off being rude. So she said, no. So I said, well, can we change the channel to some cartoons or something? And I know she was looking at me like, cartoons? Like, you're a grown-ass adult. Yes, I am a grown-ass adult, but I know how to be in tune to my inner child. Right now, my inner child does not want to hear that BS from, you know, the news media and so on and so on, and all the negativity that comes from it. So I say all that to say that, you know, so she changed the TV, and then she pulled up the guide, and then she said, well, how about some house hunting? And see, she was trying to test me to see if I was gonna, she don't realize it, but I realize it. Spirit was just showing me that she was testing me to see if I was going to stay true to what it was I was wanting to watch or whatever, or what I wanted to watch on TV. Because she said, well, how about watching some house hunting? And I said, nah, that's okay. I said, I prefer to watch the, because I do like watching house hunting sometimes, but I didn't want to watch it there in that office. So I basically told her, I said, no, can we just put on some cartoons? So, you know, it was a little Christmas cartoon episode or whatever. And that pretty much changed the dynamic, because I did not want to see the stuff of the media and all that other stuff. And I know some of you guys probably saying, well, how you get informed? I'm informed because, again, God is warning me of the red telephone that that is my spiritual media, should I say. So, yes, I am unplugging from social media. Excuse me, not social media. I'm unplugging from the, you know, the news outlets or whatever the case may be. And God is pretty much my news outlet, because I was like, okay, Lord, you know, you telling me to do, years ago, I'm like, you telling me to unplug from this, but I got to know that you got my back. So yes, he's the red telephone, him saying divinely orchestrated events that's controlled and orchestrated by him. He is my news media. Okay. So if you just trust God and trust the information that he's giving you, he's always going to give you a warning ahead of time. And we don't know how it's going to come, but it's just a matter of just being on guard, but staying in your heart space and just trusting him. So anyway, it says, environment, your first steps could be cutting out the negative media from your daily life. Another important factor could involve changing your diet. That's so important. I know me, I had to change my diet. Cut out any sugar foods with MSGs or any GMOs and replace them with fresh organic vegetables. I know sometimes some of you guys don't want to hear that, but you know, years ago, back in 2019, I think, we started eating more organic foods or whatever. Anyway, it says, take a moment and say the following statements to yourself or out loud. I am in control of my life. Nothing can affect me unless I choose to let it. Unless you choose to let it. And there are times that I have definitely been tested to where I was like, okay, well, I'm allowing this to happen. So, you know, and then I'm being brought to my attention. Okay, well, you allowed this to happen because even though you didn't know how it was going to turn out. So, yes, you will have little tests that comes here and there to allow you to see what you're willing to deal with and what you're not willing to deal with. I'm in control of my life. Nothing can affect me unless I choose to let it. My thoughts create my reality. Keep repeating the statements until you feel stronger. And I know when I tell you that my bathroom mirror is full of so many Post-it notes since 2018 and 2019. I mean, like, I left this one little spot on my mirror and you could probably only see probably about this much of it and about this much of it. Other than that, it's Post-it notes. I have to speak to myself. Like, seriously, you have to. That's how you become spiritually strong, until that energy really lines up with the words that you're speaking. So eventually you will believe it. It will help you to make new choices. Remember, your words and self-talk are very powerful in altering your psychological. So I'm gonna read this last card, and it's courage. Courage requires you to, courage requires you to be fearless, stride ahead despite the challenges you are experiencing. And this is Obviously, Spirit wanted me to read that. Whether you are afraid of success or failure, you can't stay where you are. You need to make a decision and move forward with belief, trust, and boldness. Give it your all, no matter the outcome. Despite what you have been telling yourself, you are ready for a new adventure and another challenge to prove that you have what it takes to face life challenges. Stop investing in limitations, lack, and dysfunction. Every blessing has a challenge, and every challenge contains a blessing. You are ready to explore both. Withstand there will be difficult moments ahead. Keep positive. Believe that everything is going to work out for your absolute best. You are being asked to gather the courage to be who you truly are and to stand strongly for your convictions. And here's one last action that you can use. It says, in order for you to succeed in what you desire, you need to prepare for the challenges ahead. Make a list of the support you need to tackle the approaching opportunities. Become aware of who you are afraid of. Imagine that this fear takes on the shape of a person. What does he or she look like? Look this fear in the eyes and tell it that you are willing to learn from it and master the lessons, but you are not willing to be a slave to it. Imagine loving your fear and taking steps forward. I know for me, I had already told myself prior to pulling these cards, I said, the new year, I'm going to I was going to do some things differently because I feel like the energy basically became a little stagnant. And I was going to do things a little differently throughout the new year. So what exactly, I don't know. But that's why I had to push back from my work, should I say. So that way I can get a better understanding of what direction I need to go in next. And sometimes you have to push away from the work. This is the last deck, y'all. This is the overall message of what Spirit wants you to know. And I just want to say, y'all, yesterday we made some fried rice for the first time. We made some fried rice before, but this fried rice tasted so much better. And we had some shrimp fried rice on it. Well, we had some shrimps on the side because my son eats the shrimps. I like shrimps too, but I didn't necessarily want it in my fried rice. But anyway, so and then because me and my daughter was talking about making some egg foo young gravy, right? So we made our own egg foo young gravy yesterday, and she was responsible for doing the gravy for the egg foo young, and I say she did a pretty amazing job. Okay, and I want to say that what was I going to say? And then for the egg foo young, so my son had helped out with that as well too. So it's we all were in the kitchen kind of helping out, should I say. My son had did some tuna fish, right? And he had did some tuna fish, and he was helping out with the egg foo young stuff. Excuse me, the shrimp fried rice stuff. And my daughter did an amazing job with everybody did an amazing job. My son did an amazing job too with the tuna fish, because we're going to tear that up too. We're preparing for a little road trip, y'all. And I just wanted to let y'all know, I'm going old school with it. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, but I'm very cautious of who I eat from. So it's almost like Spirit was just reminding me of when I was young, when we would take road trips between Georgia and Florida, or wherever it is that we would go, North Carolina, whatever the case may be. It's we would always bring food. So I'm back on that tip again, where I'm packing my own food. That way I don't have to worry about somebody else's nasty hands, whether they wearing a mask, whether they covering their mouth, whether they have clean hands, and all of that. I'm not saying that I don't eat here and there, but I always, the two places that I usually stick to, I usually always ask God to just make sure that they're doing the right thing prior to me going in there. I was like, okay, Lord, I would like to eat this, or I would like to do that. Can you just make sure that they're doing what they need to do? And that's pretty much it. But other than that, I don't have a wide variety of places that we go eat. And that's just a matter of just me trying to keep me and my kids, safe during this pandemic, because again, I'm a former food service manager, so I see everything. Sometimes I made a couple of jokes to my kids one time, and I was like, I should wear my old food service manager into these places, because it says health department on it, right? First thing somebody see health department, they think that, oh my God, the health inspector's here, let's clean up this act. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people do that when the health inspector comes. And then as soon as they leave, they right back to their old bad habits, should I say, of being relaxed, not washing their hands. And thank God that this one place that I go to eat, I explained to the man, I said, hey, you know, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. I said, I really appreciate, you know, are you guys still wearing masks? Are you guys still wearing gloves? And, you know, so on and so on. And but it's like, specifically, God asked me to ask for this one particular person at this restaurant that we go to. So he understands where I come from. And God hasn't shown me otherwise yet. But when he does, I'll be quick to listen. But other than that, we're pretty satisfied with the service that, you know, he normally gives us. But I say all that to say it's in particularly him that I have to make sure who is dealing with our food, should I say. Because as an example, his dad was dealing with the food at one point, and when he prepared the food that we was eating, we can feel his energy. It was very tiring. It was very, very tiring. That's what it was. But when he fixes our food, I noticed the difference. So at that moment, I pretty much developed a relationship with him and asked him, and I prayed God that he was just making sure that he was just doing what was right. And I kind of somewhat briefly explained to him without telling him that his dad was tired, but just letting him know that I preferred if he, you know, really appreciate if he could prepare our food or whatever. But anyway, so with all that being said, we're going old school, y'all. We packing sandwiches, we packing some chips, we packing some juices, we got some water, we got some little snacks. I'm just saying, gotta go old school with this. We taking it back old school. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I know that society has tell us, oh, go eat at a good restaurant, oh, go eat this. But I'm telling you, oh, go get in the kitchen and fix whatever it is. We got the internet, y'all. You can go out there and fix whatever it is you want to fix, you know. And just know that your kitchen is clean, if it is clean, and your hands are clean because you know you're washing them. And you don't have to worry about, you know, people doing spiteful stuff in regards to food and so on and so on. But anyway, so with all that being said, I just wanted to let y'all know that. So I'm ready for the sandwiches because like I said, for me, it's bringing me back to old school when we would do road trips going to Florida, you know, Georgia when I was growing up. And I'm excited about that. So anyway, but here's my last deck. Let me do this shamanic healing card and I'm out. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. All right, Spirit, what message do you have for the collective? Just one card, please. Thank you. So like a balance. A new day. It goes right along with the other message. A new day. The old life, the new life. Is that a butterfly? It's transforming the old into the new. But just remember this. We have to go through the... oh, I forgot to tell y'all. Let me tell you real quick before I forget. My daughter made chocolate chip cookies yesterday too. And yes, they're organic cookies. They're chocolate chip cookies. They're really good. And I really enjoy eating it because I know her hands are clean. And she knows by now how her mom is. So I just want to make sure when she's making food that she ain't tired because I don't want to feel that in the food. So believe it or not, people, you can, if you're an empath, you can feel people's energy through the food. But anyway, so... she knows how I am by now. So I say all that to say because she knows if she's in a certain mindset that I don't want to eat the food because I don't want to feel that certain type of energy. But I say all that to say she's made chocolate chip cookies. They were really yummy, 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 yummy. And I really enjoyed them. She made them for Christmas. And not only that, but now she's making some snickerdoodles. So I'll let you guys know how that is. But anyway, so if you guys in the DMV area, I just want to say, you want some cookies? She did me a red velvet cake for my birthday. Oh, it's so good. It was like the closest thing that I had taste from a southern red velvet cake from the South. Okay. Cause I have not, there was only one cake that kind of tastes a little similar to the South. Cause for those of you who do not know, I'm from Georgia, right? Yes. I'm that Georgia peach. But anyway, so with that being said, the closest red velvet cake that I had taste up here in this area was Cheesecake Factory, their red velvet cake. That was the closest. But then my daughter made it. I was like, okay, I see you. I was like, that is closer than the Cheesecake Factory. So anyway, so she does red velvet cakes, and she does other cakes as well too. And oh my God, I told her, she asked me, Mom, what do you want me to make this year for your birthday? I told her, this year I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna do cinnamon buns. She made some cinnamon buns. Oh my God, like they were so good. And when I tell you they were so good, they were so good. Oh my God, like they really were. And I'm not just saying that because my daughter, because I wouldn't be saying that if I didn't like it, but they were really good. Anyway, let me get into this card so I can end this message. So it says, a new day enables us to see in a brand new light. We can see more clarity once the shadow of fear and doubt are brushed away by the light of creation. Once the initial shock of discovery, the duality in the situation has worn off, you can find comfort that there is truly no bad or good. It just is. When this is realized, the possibilities for the outcome of situations become endless. The card also advises to wait. The card also advises to wait. Everything regarding the situation has yet to unfold. So keep that in mind, y'all. Like the new day is coming, but we got events that's gonna unfold in the process. So just remember, I said, more than anything, if you just can't remember this message, just remember the red phone events, but also remember too that God is divinely orchestrating the situation. Okay, if you don't lose hope of that, just remind it, because I know even myself, I'm sure I'm probably going to be feeling tested as well too. But anyway, to face any fears that we may possibly have. So this is just allowing us to stand into our own personal power and to trust God's source spirit. You know, even though I may be at a certain level of trusting God, you know, others may be at a level of just learning to trust God. Everybody is in a different space, but you know, these events are just going to show us how to even trust him even more in the process. So anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. I wish you all much love, much light, and enjoy the rest of your day, because I'm about to go here watch some movies with my kids, and we're going to lay around and we just gonna just have a little bit of fun. Okay. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your day. I wish you all much love, much light. Remember to always keep God first and foremost in your heart, your mind, your body, soul, and spirit. And remember that you are. Just remember that you are. God lives within you. You are that temple, okay? You are the temple. You are that temple. You are worthy. You are worthy of more. Accept yourself. You know, you don't have to allow other people to accept you, because when you make the conscious decision to accept yourself, that's all that matters. When you can accept yourself, you can walk around here with a sense of not necessarily an unhealthy ego, but it's more so of you standing in your power of just knowing that I don't need nobody to validate me. You know, I validate myself, and that's all that matters. God validates me. So remember that. Anyway, but yeah, so you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Much love, much light, peace and blessings. Bye.